just look at the gains that we're seeing in JSPL. In fact, before we get to the European markets and how they've opened, this one deserves mention because it's now spiked up to a gain of 13%, 14% for JSPL. There's definitely something going on, possibly with the coal block auction at this point in time. Speculative, no confirmations, but still.
Well, we put it out, Ekta. Jindal Power has won the Gare Palma 4x1 and 2 at 108 rupees per ton each. So that would, come as a big positive surprise for JSPL, considering the aggressive bidding that we've seen in the case of all the other, regulated as well as non-regulated, blocks so far. So JSPL winning, Jindal Power winning its existing, Gare Palma, 4x1, 4x2 at this price is definitely a big positive surprise. We'll try and speak to our analysts as well in-house. We'll get in, Nigel as well as Pragya. But this is good news, which is why that stock in a day has raised about 15%.
Yes, I think it definitely secures a lot for them, and we'll have to understand the fundamental aspect of it as well. But it is confirmed at this point in time. I think we have Nigel joining in on this news. Nigel, it's a big relief coming in for them.
It's a good relief, in fact, for the company. I'll just give you a bit of a background what this exactly means. Now, this particular coal block, that's a 2 and 3. What it feeds is that JSPL has 2,400 megawatts of the total power capacity. At present, this Gare Palma 4, 2 and 3 was feeding the 1000 megahertz. Now, out of this total 1000 megahertz, it requires 5 million tons on a per annum basis to run. What is the total extractable quantity from these both these two blocks is 6 million tons. So, if you want to go by the mathematics, they have 1 million ton that they can use for the additional 1400 megahertz. That's the total capacity, 2,400. So what you show is that the 1000 megahertz, that the Tamnar 1, that's going to run with no problem whatsoever. Okay. And the bidding price as well of around 108, that's fairly positive as well, because we were just talking to Pragya last few days, all these power plants, remember this was specifically only for power plants. So you just look at it over the past few days, you have seen bids of 400, 700, 1000. They've got it at around 108. Just one point I'd like to make over here is that there were a total of around 10 to 11 bidders. And nearly 50% of them, they go out of the window prior to the start of the bidding. Now, there were some unconfirmed reports that 3 or 2 of these of all these companies, they belong to the same group. So JSPL was always in the running to go ahead and get these blocks, and it comes as a relief, particularly for their power business. Remember, only around 15% of their total power will be sold in the via merchant sales, while 85% will have to be sold for PPAs. And currently they had only around 400 to around 500 megahertz of PPAs that were signed. So interesting to see what happens with the remaining part of it.
Okay.
Nigel, just one question. Any particular reason why you think that the bids would have perhaps, they managed to get it at a low price compared to what the other bids have been so far in power?
Yeah, Rima, that's the point I was making. So there were 11 or 10 in total who put their bids. Then just before the bidding starts, 50% of them are eliminated.
Right.
So if you had 10, then say 5 went out of the window. And 3 out of these 5 unconfirmed reports suggest that it was the JSPL group itself under their other group companies that had bid for it. This is all unconfirmed. But the very fact that they got it at 108, that could be the secret behind them getting it at only around 108 rupees per ton. Because we have seen aggressive bidding over the last few days. This is such a good mine, such a good amount of reserves. And yet, in fact, there was not such aggressive bidding, then that could be the story.
Exactly, Nigel. That's what 108 rupees per ton is what the bid price was. But we do understand. I think the fixed cost would be 100.
Yes, so and 8 rupees.
Yeah. So how does the math work for JSPL? I mean, the fact that we did not see any sort of aggressive bidding after what we saw with Hindalco in the morning. I mean, how do you explain that?
Ekta, it's totally different. So with regard to Hindalco, so basically there are various mines that are given only to the power sector. There are other mines that are marked for the non-power segment. Now these mines were marked for the power segment, both these 2 mines. So if you want to compare these 2 mines, you can compare it with CESC's mine. That was reserved only for the power segment. Pragya was talking about the Toki Sud.
Was there any logistical benefit that JSPL has?
JSPL's mines is sub 50 kilometers away from these levels. So on the back of that, they were definitely in the driving seat to get these mines. But I think the secret is that among those mines that were bidding, among the players that were bidding, majority of them belong to the same group. So that could be the reason why. Otherwise, 108, we had this information question. We were wondering, as I was getting out the data as well, whether it's possible or not, and it has come through. The company has confirmed that. So 108, then it appears that they've got a very, very good deal. A short point being that the 1000 megahertz, that's a Tamnar one, that can function with no problem whatsoever. 1 million ton they have in excess because it runs at around 5 million tons. You have an extractable reserves on a per annum basis of around 6 million tons. So the remaining 1400 as well, you can use maybe around 1 million ton of that to run some part of that as well. But Ekta, Rima, just to tell you all this, that out of the total sales, power sales that they'll do, 85% will be sold under the PPA route, so they'll have to sign PPAs for that, because as per the last update, they have only around 400 to around 500 megahertz that have been signed under the by PPA, so they'll have to sign more. But otherwise, in fact, only 15% will be able to be sold in the via the merchant sales route. Though the realizations will come down, in fact, at least the power plant will run. That's the positive.
Okay, so you're saying that the profitability could be reduced.
Yes, but that is factored in. That is factored in.
So what's come out is a scenario which is perhaps the best case scenario for JSPL. They retain their existing mines at the best price possible.
Right, that's true, Rima, because when it was earmarked for power companies itself, the street knew that most of their sales will have to be via the PPA route, only 15% will be merchant sales. So that all was all factored in. Then getting it at 108 rupees, that's a big positive, because you just compare it with the other power companies who have got it in the last few days. You're not comparing it with Hindalco, you're not comparing it with Cessa Sterlite, you're comparing it with the power bids that was in excess of around 400, 700, 1100 is what we saw yesterday from SR Power. So basically, it's definitely a positive. Their power blocks, at least, power plant at least will run.
Now it's up 19%.
Yes, absolutely. It seems as though the overhang has been removed or is rapidly being removed at this point in time. Nigel, thanks very much for that. So it's JSPL. The stock is up around 19% at this point in time. That's the top gain on the Nifty at this point. We'll do one thing. We'll take a break. But on the other side, we'll try and get you... Okay, I think we'll just stay with the markets at this point in time. So like we mentioned, it's JSPL which is up around 19% and the toast of the market at this point. But there's no real impact that we've seen on the Nifty at this point.
I think Pragya sent us a very important clarification. It's at negative 108 rupees per ton. But that's been the case. You know, we've seen a couple of the others at even minus 400, 470, etc. So let's just clarify that. The JSPL has won the bids at minus 108 rupees per ton. They won the Gare Palma 2 and 3 at minus 108.
Okay, and we have Mr. Rajagopal, Group CFO and Director of JSPL, joining in to talk about this. Sir, thank you very much for joining in. Can you just take us through can you confirm with us the price at which you bid for, whether it's confirmed that you've managed to retain the Gare Palma for 2 and 3?
Yes, we have retained. Let me say we have won the bid, and this was at minus 108. So that means we have to pay 108. So that is the cost for us.
Okay. Mr. Rajagopal, good afternoon and many congratulations on this. Can you tell us who the other bidders were and what the other bid prices were? Sir?
The other bidders were Adani and GMR.
Okay.
And we and some more were there,
Okay. Are we aware of what the other bid prices were, sir?
We don't know who are the people, because it is the auction, and the bids and amounts are appearing, and we have to keep bidding, and so we will not know that.
Okay. Sir, can you just tell us whether now the functioning of the Tamnar 1 would not see any sort of disruption, and whether this coal that you do generate would possibly be used for any other plant as well?
As per the coal rules that you can use in the same company, you can use for other plants. Maybe we have to take permission or we have to inform the concerned authorities. That is our understanding as of now.
So we do assume that you could use it for another plant that might have not been receiving coal?
Yeah, see, let's say with the bidding rules where you have to bid for each end-use plant. And so first you have to use for that end-use plant, and in case you are using for any other plant in the same company, I think we have to either obtain a permission or we have to inform them. That is what the rules to be followed.
Okay. Just before
there will be a mining plan, and you have to mine up to that extent.
Okay. Before I just toss it across to my colleague, one question, sir: did any other group company of any other Jindal Group company also bid in submit their bids in this auction?
I don't understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay. Anyway, let me toss it across to my colleague Nigel, who looks at this very closely. Nigel, over to you.
Hi, Mr. Rajagopal. Thanks so much for joining in. Congratulations on winning back both these two blocks. Sir, a couple of numbers I wanted. What is the current mining capacity of both these two blocks?
Currently, the capacity is 6 million tons per annum.
And do you see there is scope to be scaling this number up?
As of now, it is. So we have to see in future, because now these rules are all nowadays more clarified and made it expandable, and we have to see that. As of now, it is 6 million.
All right, sir. So, Mr. Rajagopal, saying that you get around 6 million tons from both these two blocks, that totally satisfies your 1000 megahertz? That's your Tamil Nadu one?
Yes, exactly.
So the additional 1 million ton could be used for Tamil Nadu too?
No, if anything is there, see, as I said, because we went against particular end-use plan, and then if you want to use for other end-use plan, the same company, we can use after taking permission, or we keep the concerned authorities informed. So that all we have to see how it will work out.
All right. So then the total power that will generate from here, only 15% will be allowed to be sold via merchant sales. Am I right on that one?
Yeah, that is all the current rules.
And so you would have to sign PPAs to the remaining 85%. How much have you already signed?
We already have a PPA for 400 with Tamil Nadu, then another 250 with Kerala.
Right.
So another 250 also. I think we were already having about 800 to 850.
So, but as per your Q3 numbers, at that time you didn't have all PPAs signed, or were they already signed and were they already functioning?
Yeah, as of now, only Tamil Nadu is functioning. So that other ones will take time.
So that is around 400 megahertz?
Yeah, 400, but yeah, exactly.
So,
but not all 400 going, but we have started on that, yeah.
So in the interim, sir, presume that you start both these two mines, you're generating power, and you're generating around 1,100, roughly 1,100 megahertz. Then how do you sell the remaining part of it? You can sell only 15% via merchant sales. So what do you do with the other power?
No, anyway, as I said, we have already so much for supplying to under the PPA, so we will do that. So balance 15% we can sell. So there will be some which we will not be able to sell through this. Then in that case, then we have to buy coal on e-auction and then generate and sell in merchant power. Because you can always generate and sell. Only thing, you can't use this coal. Then we have to buy coal from outside.
Right, sir. But at what price would that happen at?
You mean the coal price or the selling price?
Yes, both prices, the coal price as well as the bidding price.
Coal, you see, e-auction is available. Nowadays, prices have come down. It's a landed cost ranging from 2,000 to 2,400. It can go down further. And selling price is ranging from 3 rupees to 3 rupees 50 paisa.
All right, sir, and the next couple of blocks that you'll be looking forward to, could you just take us through that schedule and whether it's power and non-power?
No, we have in several blocks where we are already scheduled. Maybe let me not just recount all those things, because many of them are depending on the whole bidding strategy. So let me not speak on team.
All right, Mr. Rajagopal, just hold on to that thought. I believe that we have Mr. Rakesh Arora as well, who joins us on the phone line currently. Hi, Rakesh. Thanks so much for joining in this afternoon. How big a positive is it? I was reading a few of your notes, and you believe that, in fact, it would be a big positive, and JSPL was definitely a favorite to win both these two blocks. Take us through your first take. The stock is flying away as I speak.
So I think it's extremely good news that we are hearing on JSPL after a long time. And my congratulations to the management and Mr. Rajagopal to you.
Right.
Basically, we think that now the big overhang which was there about the feasibility of the Tamna 1,000 megawatt is gone. And this should really mark the bottom of the stock has been made, I would think. And things should improve from here on. I think this is the first sensible bidding that we have seen in the whole auction space. And I hope that the trend improves from here on. And we see, companies being more sensible about how they're going about auctioning and bidding in this auction.
Right. Rakesh, but the stock, in fact, as we speak, it's higher. It's at around the 180 rupees approximately. How much of value would you give these two blocks and the upcoming blocks? Because there will be further bids. As you said, this was a sensible bid. It closed at around minus 108. So that all made sense. But going ahead as well, how much more value? If suppose they can go ahead and they can secure their coal for captive use as well, how much of a positive would that be?
See, the stock has actually fallen around 80% and was trading at half-time price to book.
Yeah.
So this 18% increase today might look big, but it's actually not. In fact, just if investors consider this company as a going concern, probably it will come back to one-time price to book, which is more like 230 to 40 rupees. So I think this is just the start of the up move.
Right.
And as more policy decisions are taken by the government, things become clearer both on coal and iron ore.
Right.
I think the upside is huge in this.
All right, Rakesh. So this is a big positive move. You believe? Will you be revising your estimates today itself post this big move? What's your current take on the stock?
See, we were already building in that JSPL will win this coal block back.
All right. So no revisions.
So no real change to our earnings.
All right.
And our target price also stays, which is around, I think, 225 to 30.
All right, Rakesh. Thanks so much for joining in this afternoon, and congratulations. I think you're one of the brokerage notes that got that one spot on target. I was reading a few of them. But let's go back to the management. We have Mr. Rajagopal, who's still bidding by. Sir, in fact, as Rakesh was saying that this entire bidding process was very sensible. Could you tell us the number of bidders that were there? I think that it was 10 or 11. So post that 50% cutoff, how many bidders were there? And could you tell us exactly who were the bidders?
Let me not get into all these things. All will be available later on. So it's not any information which I have to give.
All right, sir. Thanks so much for joining in this afternoon. Congratulations. You won both your two blocks. At least JPL Power can continue. And in fact, 1000 megahertz will be up and running. That's it from me. Thanks so much, Rakesh. Thanks, Mr. Rajagopal, for joining in.